What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review. And today we're taking a look at the brand new NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mirage Comics Leatherhead. And this thing looks absolutely insane. I remember when they showed this off at Comic-Con a few years ago, and it looked crazy in the display. Like they had, I want to say, him fighting against maybe Casey Jones or even the Rat King. I don't know. They kind of had them set up together, and they looked incredible. And I remember thinking at the time, like, damn, that Leatherhead is humongous. And then I kind of forgot about how big this thing actually was until I saw it in store, and I was like, damn, this box is huge. The figure is huge. It's going to be crazy. So yeah, I'm excited about this, but let's go ahead and jump right into it. Starting off with the awesome packaging. Through the window here, you are able to see Leatherhead along with his accessories. Down here, we get some really cool Leatherhead artwork. On the side, we get some Leatherhead artwork. On the back, we get a look at the figure itself with some awesome action figure photography. And then down here, we get some heads kind of showing off some other figures in the Mirage Turtles line. We get some more artwork right here, like a full body shot. Nice, nice, nice. And yeah, that's about it for the packaging. It's just like all the other NECA Mirage comic Turtles packaging, you know, but it's just big and crazy. So it looks amazing. But enough about the pretty box. Let's go ahead and get this guy out and take a look. Alrighty, so here we have Leatherhead's big, beautiful ass right out of the packaging. And man, this figure is so much fun. He doesn't have like the best articulation because, you know, he's a big, naked alligator. But he's just still awesome. Like, I've been having a great time messing around with it, even though you can't get him into the best poses. He's just a cool figure to look at and mess with. There's a lot of good stuff going on. You could open up the mouth. The tail is articulated. Like, there's a bunch of articulation in this tail. There's no bendy wire, but they just put joints everywhere. There's one there, one there, one there, one there, one there, one there, and then one where it connects to the body. So really good stuff. And then as usual, NECA did an incredible job with the details and the sculpt and everything. It's a beautiful looking figure. Really well sculpted, perfectly painted. And yeah, man, right out of the box, I'm really happy with the way this guy turned out. NECA has just been killing it with the Mirage Comics line. I'm so glad that they decided to, you know, go so deep into this aspect of Turtles because, you know, they do a lot of movie stuff and a lot of like the old animated series stuff. And it's just cool to see that they've given that same love to the comic version of Turtles. But yeah, once again, NECA absolutely killed it. But let's go ahead and get in close and take a look at the details on this monster. Starting off at the head, look at this, man. That looks crazy. They did a phenomenal job capturing that like scaly reptilian type of look. It looks amazing. And I like the different shades of green that we have in there. It's like a little bit of light green, some dark green. It just looks awesome. And he does come with two different head sculpts. We'll look at the other one in just a minute. But this head sculpt has like a longer snout. And this one is supposed to be more of like a crocodile type of head sculpt. So that is awesome. I'm not even sure whether Leatherhead is a crocodile or alligator. But this figure has us covered in both ways, you know. So if you want to go with crocodile Leatherhead, here you go. And if you want to change them to, you know, an alligator, you're able to do that too. But yeah, man, this head sculpt is really nice. I love the yellow eye. It really pops against the green of the skin. And then on this side, he has an eye patch. And even the eye patch string has some sculpting work on it. Look at that. It's not just like a smooth piece of plastic. But man, this is a great looking figure. And then his mouth is able to open. You can see his... Actually, this... Oh yeah, that's his tongue right there. Man, he's got a big old tongue. I was like, where'd his tongue go? But yeah, man, this looks really good. Check out the teeth. And then look at the detail on the back here. This is crazy. Look at that. I love all that scale work. We have some like lines in there to give it that like drawn comic book feel. That's always nice. But I love all the different shades of green. And then right here on the arm wraps, these are really well done too. With some nice washes and some, you know, dark lines for the wraps themselves. Same thing right here, man. Look, I love this. It's so clean, and those dark lines just make everything look so pronounced, you know? Got some more wraps around the legs here. Even the bottom of the feet have scales on them. So yeah, it's just an amazing looking figure all the way through. I love all the different shades of green, and just the detail in the skin is very impressive. Look at that, man. Looks incredible. And then for accessories, Leatherhead comes with some interchangeable hands, including a pair of fists. And then he comes with a set of gripping hands, which is cool because you could maybe have him like hold on to another character, like holding a turtle by the ankle in the air or something. And then lastly, he comes with a set of open hands. And then for the final accessory, as I mentioned before, he does come with a crocodile styled head sculpt. And this looks really good, man. Check this out. The sculpting work on it is just as impressive as the rest of the figure. I love the bright yellow eyes. And once again, his mouth is able to open up. Get it way open. There we go. Yeah, that is awesome right there. Here's a quick side by side with both of the head sculpts. As you can see, the crocodile head sculpt is much wider and the alligator one is a little bit more narrow. So yeah, it's cool that they included both of these. The crocodile head sculpt obviously does not have the eye patch, so we get like two glaring yellow eyes that look amazing against that green. So yeah, man, I love both of these head sculpts. I'm not even sure which one I like more. The eye patch is kind of cool because it just gives a little bit more attitude, or I guess you could say, or a little bit more character. This one here feels a little bit more generic, but it's still really dope. So yeah, I like the accessories. You know, for a character this big, the fact that we got extra hands is awesome. You know what I really wish they had done though is made like interchangeable lower arms and lower legs so that we could swap those out and just have them without the wraps so that we could just have a big ass like crocodile or alligator. I think that would be cool. But as it is, I'm very happy with the accessories that he comes with. And yeah, both of these head sculpts are really cool. And then for some size comparisons, here we have the Mirage Comics Leatherhead alongside the Archie Comics Stump Wrestling Leatherhead over on this side. And on the opposite side, we have the animated series version of Leatherhead. And seeing these three figures together like this, it's dope because it really exemplifies like how good NECA is at executing different styles. Like all three of these characters are obviously the same character, but they look drastically different. NECA is really good at executing the source material that they're working on almost perfectly, you know? So yeah, all three of these are great. I would love to see NECA do a Archie Comics version of Leatherhead, but like his earlier appearance that kind of feels like the animated series version, but looks like this, but you know, with the gear on. I think that'd be really cool. I do like this stump one quite a bit though. All the Leatherhead figures from NECA have been pretty awesome so far. So yeah, they're killing it and they continue to do so with the Mirage Comics version. Oh man, Leatherhead looks awesome next to the other Mirage Comics turtle figures. On the left, we have the NECA Return to New York Donatello, and then on the opposite side, we have the original. Actually, this is a bootleg of the original NECA Mirage Comics turtles. And I would love to see NECA revisit these somehow. I know they said they'll never redo them or whatever, but you know, why not just like make new versions of these Mirage Comics turtles? That would be amazing. But anyways, Leatherhead looks great next to these figures, so it's going to be awesome. Kind of using Leatherhead as like part of a center of a display piece, you know, maybe have a bunch of like smaller characters hanging out around him. It'll look really cool, but I love the way these all look together. Next up, we have him alongside the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated series Raphael. On the opposite side, we have the Mezco 112 Collective Michelangelo. And yeah, I think Leatherhead's going to look great next to the Mezco Turtles too. He definitely clashes with the animated series versions of the Turtles, but you know, you can make it work. It's just the colors are kind of like opposite extremes, but they still look good together. And then next up, we have him alongside the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Battle Damage Last Ronin. And then on the opposite side, we have the Archie Comics Stump Wrestling Raphael. And I love this freaking figure. I want to see NECA like redo all the turtles, maybe like the animated versions of the turtles on these bodies. That's what they should have done when they did those like new deluxe ones with all the accessories. They should have updated the bodies with these bodies here that have the pinless joints and the double jointed elbows and everything. That would have been awesome. I love this figure. I opened it recently and wasn't expecting to love it as much as I do, but this thing is awesome. Anyways, Leatherhead looks great next to them. Next up, we have Leatherhead alongside the Mezco 112 Collective Casey Jones. On the opposite side, we have the NECA Mirage Comics Splinter. And man, look how tiny Splinter is next to Leatherhead. And then next up, we have him alongside a couple of NECA Mirage Comics Triceratons. And man, he even makes Zog look a little on the small side. That's crazy. And then next up, we have Leatherhead alongside the NECA Mirage Comics Rat King. And then on the opposite side, we have one of the NECA Mirage Comics Ultram robots. And then stepping away from Turtles before we finish up with the size comparisons, here we have Leatherhead alongside the Medi Toys Mr. G. And then on the opposite side, we have the GOAT. And this is the 1000 Toys Hellboy figure, and this thing is absolutely incredible. This is the original release. I reviewed it back in the day, and every time I pick it up, I'm just amazed at how good this figure is. And they recently re-released it, and it comes with like a few more accessories. It's crazy expensive. That's the only problem. The figure costs like 160 bucks, which is insane, but it is an amazing figure. It's probably the best Hellboy figure that we will ever see. If you don't have it, I strongly suggest picking it up before it's gone. It is in stock in Big Bad Toy Store right now, so I'll leave a link to that in the list of links below, so be sure to check that out if you want this Hellboy figure. And then, of course, we have to get Leatherhead alongside the Marvel Legends Bucky Cap and the Marvel Legends Renew Your Vows Spider-Man. And then for the final size comparison, we have to get Leatherhead in here with the most important figures in my collection. On this side, we have my original character, Odious. This is an original release from me. He is available now. If you're interested in supporting a very cool independent project, check out Odious. I'll leave a link to that in the description below and in the list of links in the comments or wherever I put the links. And then on the opposite side, we have the NECA Mirage Comics Kirby, aka the King Jack Kirby. All things considered, the articulation on Leatherhead is pretty good. Obviously, there are some limitations because of the size, but I do think that NECA did a great job of putting articulation where they could, So yeah, I like what we have going on here. I'm definitely having fun playing around with this figure, even though it's not like you could get him into the most dynamic poses or anything, but he's just cool to pose around and get him into what little poses that you can, So yeah, I'm having fun with it. But let's go ahead and see what we have going on here, starting off at the head. So the head is on a, like a double ball peg, so we get some nice movement around like that. He could look up to about right there, and then he could look down to about right there. And then, it rotates like that, kind of shifts side to side. It would have been nice if he was able to get his head all the way up so he could lay flat on his belly, But yeah, that's about as far as it could go. So yeah, decent movement at the head, and then he does have an articulated mouth, so his mouth opens up like that. Opens up pretty wide, so that's nice. And then for the torso, he does have I guess you could call it like a diaphragm joint, and he's able to spin on that, and then leans to the side to about right there. So, not the craziest amount ever, but pretty good for such a big, thick figure. Goes back to about right there. And it goes forward to about right there. I kind of want to pop this apart and try to get him to bend forward a little bit more. But yeah, not too bad. And then for the arms, he does have ball joints at the shoulder, so his arm does go all the way around. And you could bring him out to the side to about right there. He does have upper bicep swivel. Let's see what we could do for like punching poses for this guy. Yeah, the arms are pretty limited. Yeah, not going to be able to do too much as far as like punching goes or anything. I don't know, you can probably make something work. Yeah, so he's definitely limited. But like I said, I was having fun messing around with him. Yeah, so it's going to be tough to get him into any type of punching poses. And then he does have single jointed elbows that bend to about right there. And then we also get a swivel on the elbow. For the hands, we get a swivel and a hinge. And this is soft plastic, so it doesn't like hinder the articulation. I thought it would. I thought this would be a little stiffer, but it doesn't bother it at all. So that's nice. And then for the legs, it's interesting what they did right here at the hip. So it's like a double ball peg situation, kind of like the neck. It's kind of hard to see, but yeah, we get a little bit of movement where the joint is like where the joint meets the body. We get a little bit of movement there, and then we also get movement where the joint meets the hip. So see that? It kind of works like a neck joint. Shifts up and down a little bit. Get a little bit of rotation on there. To bring his leg out to the side to about right there. This is funny doing the articulation on this guy. And then for the knee, he has a single jointed knee that bends to about right there. And it also swivels. And then at the foot, we have a hinge that allows his foot to go forward to right there. Bring it up to right there. And then he does have rocking ankles. And then, as I mentioned before, for the tail, we have articulation throughout. We get movement right where the tail meets the body. That's where it plugs in. And then, we have joints going all down the tail. One joint there, one joint there, one joint there, there, and then there at the end. So, Yeah, pretty good movement at the tail. I like this way more than a bendy wire, actually. Get some pretty good range, too. So yeah, good stuff at the tail. And yeah, just in general, the articulation is fun enough for such a big character like this. You know, I didn't buy this expecting to get the most dynamic poses ever or anything like that. So I'm perfectly happy with the articulation. I think it would have been cool if they gave him double jointed elbows and then if his head was able to go all the way up so, you know, he could lay flat like an actual alligator. That would have been cool. But aside from that, I have no problems with the articulation and I'm having a good time messing around with this guy. Alrighty, so overall, at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, the dust settles, and it's all said and done, this thing is freaking fantastic, man. I think it turned out awesome, and I just love the fact that NECA put so much love into these obscure versions of these characters. Now, you know, if you were introduced to Ninja Turtles through the Mirage comics, then maybe this version of Leatherhead is not obscure to you. But for me, you know, I was introduced to Turtles through the animated series when I was a kid and the Playmates action figures. So whenever I think of Leatherhead, the first image that comes to mind is that Playmates Leatherhead figure. Like that's how I see this character. That's Leatherhead to me. So this kind of feels a little bit different, but it's awesome, man. And NECA just goes crazy with the detail, the sculpt, the paintwork, and Leatherhead here is no exception. This figure looks incredible. I just love the size of it too. Like he's huge. He's going to look great next to other turtle figures. He's massive. He's got a presence to him. So it's dope, man. It's such a cool figure. I love all the accessories that he comes with. The fact that he comes with 3 sets of hands is really dope. I like that he has 2 heads. Maybe they could have gotten a little bit more creative with the accessories. Maybe like some damaged rubble or something from the sewer, maybe some rats. I don't know. Anyways, the fact that he came with some hands and some heads is pretty cool, especially since he's such a massive figure. You know what would have been really dope though? If he came with interchangeable forearms and lower legs that did not have like wraps on them so that we could just make a big ass alligator. That would have been insane. But yeah, the fact that this big ass figure came with some accessories is pretty cool. So I'm happy with that. As far as the articulation goes, there's not too much going on here because of the size and the design and everything, and that's understandable. But even with the limitations, you could still pose them around. I'm having a good time messing around with this figure. I really like what they did with the tail. I think that was cool. And everywhere else, it's kind of limited, but you could still get some cool poses out of it and definitely have fun messing with it. But yeah, this thing is dope, man. I really like the way this turned out. I love the fact that they're going so crazy with the Mirage comic stuff. Hopefully they continue that forever. There's so many different versions of Turtles, and I just love that NECA just puts so much love into every single version that they approach. It's such a cool thing to see. And yeah, this thing turned out amazing. So I'm very happy with it. And with that, I think that's it. If you want to buy this figure and you don't feel like running around, stopping at Targets and all that bullshit, you can get it from Big Bad Toy Store. I'll leave a link to that below. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Thank you very much. Peace.